Welcome to episode 8, The Substitution, a Lamb for Isaac. Have you ever stood on the edge of obedience not knowing how the story will end? Abraham did, and that moment on Mount Moriah changed everything. In Genesis chapter 22, Abraham's faith is about to be tested. God says to him, "Take now your son, your only son, Isaac, whom you'll love, and offer him there as a burnt offering." Notice, it doesn't say a lamb or a goat, it says Isaac, his son. That's big, because Isaac wasn't just a son, he was prophecy. The seed God promised when Abraham was 75, but only fulfilled 25 years later when he was 100. In Isaac, the covenant would continue. Through Isaac, the Messiah would come, and to make his power known, endured with much long suffering the vessels of wrath prepared for destruction. And this time no voice from heaven would cry, "Stop," because the Lamb was slain. For you, the seed would continue from Isaac to Jacob down through David and finally to Jesus Christ, the Messiah. And what he says here is that God, when he saw that fig tree with no fruit, he cursed it so that it would never bear fruit again, because Mount Moriah still speaks and its echo is grace. But then he did something amazing. He turned to Abraham and said, "You have not withheld your son, your only son, from me." You see, Abraham had an encounter with the living God on that mountain. When he saw that ram, he knew that God could do anything, even raised his son from the dead. And Abraham saw the cross in the distance, and now Abraham walked up that mountain carrying the seed and the sacrifice. At some point during their journey, Isaac asks, "Father, where is the lamb?" And Abraham answers, "God will provide for himself the lamb." Then they both walk in silence until they reach the place called Mount Moriah. Jesus, the Lamb of God, would be delivered by the horns of authority, willingly, just like that ram stepped in for Isaac. When we look at the cross, let's remember Abraham's faith was rewarded, because the ram provided was a foreshadowing of the ultimate substitution, the Lamb of God who would take away the sin of the world. When Jesus was crucified, the centurion who witnessed it said, "Truly this was the Son of God." And the prophet Daniel had a vision of Jesus in the book of Daniel, chapter 7, verse 24. And there it says, "And the four great beasts are four kingdoms of this world. But the Son of Man shall stand on the right hand of the one who is on the throne, and he shall receive the kingdom." And this is where Abraham's faith is tested. This is where everything changes. When Abraham had laid the wood in order and bound Isaac his son, he took the knife to slay him. And at that moment of full obedience, a voice called out, "Do not lay your hand on the boy, do not harm him. For now I know that you are God-fearing, seeing that you have not withheld your son, your only son, from me." And Abram looked up, and there caught in the thicket by its horns was a ram. Now this was no accident. It was a shadow of what was to come. The ram caught by its horn. Now, the thicket represents the chaos of human sin and fallen systems. But Jesus stepped into the mess. Paul writes in Galatians chapter 3, verse 8, "But God, willing to show his wrath." And though he didn't understand it all, he knew the Father did not require Isaac, but he would give his own son. Have you seen the lamb, the one caught for you?